Hello. Today we are going to be making a shirt, and this is the third time that I have made that shirt, or this shirt, which is a good thing because I made the designs for it myself, and then I made a pattern for the first time, and I followed that pattern and used it to make a rough draft, which was obviously rough. And then I did a second draft, and it was definitely better. There was things that improved. But I got really confused through part of it and got a little bit messed up. But this is my third time doing it, and hopefully it turns out all right. And I thought it'd be fun just to see the process. So let's get into it. Okay, so first I want to show you what I've done so far. The patterns that I made, the first draft and what was going on there, the second draft, and then the problems that arose with that. And then we can move on to the third. Okay, so this is the first pattern, or the first part of the pattern. This is the front of the shirt, and basically I only needed one because there's two sides of it. It's kind of like a vest, so this is like one side, and then the other's right here. I just measured it out on my sister, just figuring out the lengths that I wanted, and then I made this, and I just have like a 1/2 inch seam allowance for when I'm tracing the pattern, but yeah. This is the pattern that I had for the back of the shirt. It's pretty straightforward, but yeah, now we can move on to the first draft. Okay, so this is the first draft that I did. I am happy with how this turned out. It was good for seeing how the pattern looked and everything. There are parts of it is very see-through. Here's a picture of it on my sister, just for reference of what we're looking at. For the most part, it turned out pretty well. I did figure out that I need to move that top bow down a little bit, and then obviously it's like a single piece of fabric. I just used the fabric was from a sheet, so that's fun. And then also obviously you wouldn't leave a shirt like that. I attached the bows like that, which is not the cutest thing I've ever seen. So yeah. Okay, so on the second draft, there was a lot of improvement and a lot of new things that popped up that I did not understand what I was doing. So this is the first time I've ever lined a shirt. So obviously the seams look much better because you can't see the stitches. It looks cleaner. And then also, I showed you where the bows go into the lining now. So it's super clean look. Where I found some problems was when flipping the shirt, I got confused and I only left one hole because I just thought that would work, but it didn't. And so I had to rip the seams for the straps open, and then I had to sew them back together, and I sewed one on inside out, which looks very bad. And I also sewed too far into my seam allowance, so the straps got significantly skinnier, which I just kind of like it with the thicker look. So we're gonna try to bring that back and just clean up some of the things that I was struggling with, evidently. Okay, so now that you see where I'm at and the things that I want to improve, we're gonna jump into the third shirt. I'm gonna cut the patterns, not super interesting, so yeah. Okay, so I have all the patterns cut out. I have 2 of each one for the lining, and now we're gonna move on to the sewing part. Okay, so I'm starting with the bows. I have a 1 inch by 9 inch strips of fabric cut out, and I'm just gonna sew them together and flip them inside out. Okay, so I now have all of the bows sewn. They're sewn wrong sides together, and I'm just gonna trim off the excess and then flip them inside out. Okay, so basically what I'm doing right now is I'm taking these little strips that I made, and on one end of them I sewed them shut, and then I'm flipping them inside out now, and so it has a clean end. I do that with a shish kebab stick, and it's very difficult, and yeah. Okay, so I got all of the ribbon part of the bows flipped inside out, and now I'm working on the actual shirt part. I basically took and sewed the tops of the sleeves together on both sides of the lining, so I can show it. Okay, basically it looks like this. Sorry, the lighting's horrible on both sides. And then I'm now just have them like set together, wrong sides together, or no, right sides together. And I'm sewing the armpit first on both sides. Okay, so I now have the part of the shirt sewed together, and then I need to attach the bows before I flip it inside out so it's like clean. So this is how they're gonna be on the shirt, but it will be in between these two layers so that when we flip it inside out, like this end part is on the inside and you just see this long part. So yeah. Okay, so I successfully flipped it inside out and I'm so happy with how it's turning out. I still need to sew now like this side seam together, but it actually worked and I'm very happy. And also it got really confusing, but I managed to pull this part, this like, okay, these front flaps on both sides through this like strap. I don't know mathematically how that works, but it worked. So, you know, loving that. But now I just need to sew this together on both sides and then we'll be done. So, okay, third time was a charm. It's fully complete and I didn't make any mistakes. I partially don't know how I didn't make any, but I'm happy with how it turned out. And if I do it for a fourth time, we'll see. Maybe if my friends end up wanting some, I might put like lace on some of the edges. But for now, that's all for the video. Actually, no, I'm taking pictures and I'm showing you how it turned out. And you can see all my little sisters, so.